Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dano Pran, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. We can hear you, we can see clearly. Yeah, thank you for joining.
Hare Krishna,
Shall we
Prabhu.
start?
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Nayan Prabhu,
Okay.
please.
Okay, Prabhuji. So I would just quickly want to give a quick introduction to Prabhuji, about Prabhuji. So uh, about education and work, we usually like to glorify for outside, non-devotees, so that they can get motivated. But still, I would like to say about Prabhuji qualification. Some of us may feel motivated. So Prabhuji has done his bachelor from IIT Bombay, I believe in aerospace engineering, and then Prabhuji moved to United States and he did his masters, followed by his PhD and a postdoc. And currently, Prabhuji is serving as a senior director at Optim Technology, based in Dallas. So that was about Prabhuji's material qualification. But more importantly, in his very earlier days only, when he was at IIT Bombay, Prabhuji got connected to ISKCON through his grace, Gaurang Prabhuji, and he took it immediately to Krishna consciousness, and since then has been practicing more than 20 plus years, and 22, almost 21 or 22 years. And he's a very senior disciple of His Holiness Radha Nath Maharaj Swami. And Prabhuji, when he came to United States, has been serving, preaching students Bhagavad Gita, and he started, the Bhagavad Gita program at Krishna House in Gainesville, Florida, and that's how I also got to meet Prabhuji, and he is one of the very critical, one of the very important person in my Krishna conscious journey. And since then, Prabhuji has been continuing preaching and has inspired so many people in his workplace, in student universities, and so many people. And currently, also Prabhuji helping in preaching a temple. Prabhuji is doing a 8 weeks program for Bhagavad Gita for newcomers and new devotees. So I would like to welcome Prabhuji with loudly chanting three Haribos. Can we say all together? Haribo!
Haribo!
Haribo! And sorry,
Thank you.
Prabhuji, if I missed something or said something incorrectly.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Everything is perfect. All the glories belong to Guru and Krishna. We are all made up of mercy alone from the Guru and Krishna. So, thank you. I see some celebrities here. Sanatan Square. What's your name, Prabhuji? I see your videos. Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah. And I would like to know about everybody a little bit. Their name and what do they do and where they are from, if it is okay to begin with. So I know Naveen Prabhu, I know Ashwin Prabhu. Yeah.
Okay.
Start with Udit Prabhu, who is the host
Yeah.
of this program.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Pranam. My name is Udit, and I am from Ghaziabad. Yeah, I have joined SCON. Well, I have been connected with SCON since last 5 to 6 years, but since last 2 years, I'm trying to be serious, just under the guidance of His guest HG Kumar Prabhu. Yeah, and yeah. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Udit Prabhu. And let's go to other devotees. Anybody want to volunteer? Everybody, I would like to hear from everybody.
Okay. Meghna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी द्वारा प्रणाम।
धन्यवाद।
प्रभु जी मेरा नाम मेघना है, मैं भी गाजियाबाद से बिलोंग करती हूँ और मुझे 2 साल हो गए हैं स्कॉन से जुड़े हुए, और बाय द मर्सी ऑफ लॉर्ड मेरे को उदित प्रभु जी की वजह से मैं जुड़ी थी स्कॉन में 2 साल पहले, और मैं मतलब बहुत मेरे पास वर्ड नहीं है बोलने के लिए कि मैं इतना आपकी मतलब आपसे मतलब आपका लेक्चर ले पा रही हूँ मैं। थैंक यू सो मच प्रभु जी। थैंक यू। हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्ण।
स्वाति माता जी।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम। तो मेरा नाम स्वाति है, गाजियाबाद से वैसे, बट आफ्टर मैरिज दिल्ली मैरिज एंड नाउ आई एम सेटल्ड इन नोएडा। एंड इस्कॉन में तो काफी टाइम से अश्विनी प्रभु मेरे ब्रदर हैं, तो उनकी कृपा से, की हेल्प से इस्कॉन में पहले जुड़ गए थे, बट सीरियसली आई वुड से आई स्टार्टेड फ्रॉम द कोरोना टाइम। तो 2 साल से प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं, उतने अच्छे से तो नहीं पा रही है, बट स्टिल आई एम ट्राइंग।
They're on same boat.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay. Kanak Mataji.
thank you. Welcome.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
Yes.
प्रभु जी, I'm कनक। मैं उदित प्रभु की वाइफ हूँ। मैं भी अंडर द गाइडेंस ऑफ हिज ग्रेस अश्विनी प्रभु हूँ। जो भी प्रोग्रेस हो पाई है अभी तक भक्ति में, उन्हीं की वजह से हो पाई है। स्कॉन से अभी जब जुड़ी हूँ, मैं शादी के बाद से ही जुड़ी हूँ, और 2 years से।
Wonderful. Wonderful. Welcome.
Anushka Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम। प्रभु जी, मेरा नाम अनुष्का है और मैं दिल्ली से हूँ। और प्रभु जी, आई एम कनेक्टेड विद इस्कॉन सिंस 2 years एंड प्रभु जी, मैं स्वाति माता जी के थ्रू कनेक्ट हुई थी ISKCON से।
Dhananjay bro.
Welcome. Welcome.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, मेरा नाम धनंजय है। I came in Krishna consciousness in 2013 by the device program by Radhisham Prabhu. Or little bit I was disconnected, but somehow or other Ashwini Kumar Prabhu pushed me to come to Krishna consciousness. So I'm thank you. Yes.
Yeah. Welcome.
Thank you.
Dhananjay.
Pradeep bro.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु, दंडवत प्रणाम।
Dhananjay.
प्रभु जी, मेरा नाम प्रदीप है। मैं सोहना के पास इंद्री गांव है, वहाँ रहता हूँ मैं, हरियाणा में। और पिछले 2.5 साल से आलोक प्रभु मुझे गाइड कर रहे हैं और स्पिरिचुअली मुझे आगे बढ़ने में हेल्प कर रहे हैं।
Wonderful. Wonderful. Welcome, Pradeep.
धन्यवाद प्रभु।
दशावतार bro. दशावतार bro शायद ट्रैवल कर रहे हैं। दशावतार. Thank you दशावतार. Yeah.
I'm good. So, Prabhuji, my name is Dasaftar Das, and currently I'm working in Noida, and I'm connecting with Ashwin Kumar Prabhuji. Like I'm connected with him, and yeah, he's taking care of me, Prabhuji, in his spiritual life. And I got connected with this con since 5 to 6 years back, and I'm practicing from 5 years, Prabhuji. Recently, I got initiation, Prabhuji. So.
Congratulations. Wonderful.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Please pray for me so that I can like do nice service nicely.
Sure, Prabhuji. Welcome.
We are left with one more. Aman bro, you would like to introduce yourself? Aman bro.
Yes, he's joining for the very first time in any ISKCON lecture, and he's my friend.
Hari
Yeah.
Hari.
Yeah, Aman Prabhu, please.
Hello, am I audible?
Where are you
Yes.
from?
I'm from Ghaziabad, friend of Ulu.
Cannot hear
Hello.
properly.
Yeah, I think he is also from Ghaziabad, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
He's pursuing chartered accountancy course and he's in final.
Okay.
Yeah, very soon he's going to be chartered accountant.
Hari Bol.
Wonderful.
Ishu is also
Okay.
there. I don't know if you can talk.
Ishu bro is traveling. I think he will be active back in a minute or so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I think we can begin our class. We'll begin with short prayer. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasha Destarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Prabhu, I do not know the format. So please guide me how we should do it. We just pick a topic and start speaking.
Yes, yes. No, no constraint on topic. Please feel free.
Okay. So the topic which came to me is in the sixth canto, there is a discussion between Sukdev Goswami and Parishit Maharaj in the very first chapter, just before the story of Ajamil happens. I don't know how much everybody is familiar with Bhagavatam and these characters. So I think most of you are with many years of devotional service, so you might know. But we'll not go into that story particularly. I will just talk about that discussion that is there before the story of Ajamil. So everyone know about Bhagavatam, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So Alok Prabhu, Ashwin, we still call Alok Prabhu. That's how we knew him. Ashwini, sorry. So now you will not answer. I will let others.
I'm going on.
No. But please definitely help. So anybody can tell me who wrote Srimad Bhagavatam?
Prabhuji, it was written by Ganesh and narrated by Vyasdev.
That is the most precise answer I've heard. I was expecting Vyasdev, but you gave it very precise answer. Very nice. And then now you can also say who spoke it. Who actually disseminated it to the masses?
Shukdev Goswami.
Yes, wonderful. Sukdev Goswami. And who was one of the first audience?
Parikshit Maharaj. No.
Perfect. So everybody is familiar here. So in the fifth canto, Sukdev Goswami describes about universal structure, the placement of sun, moon, different planets, different planetary systems. And then towards the end of the fifth canto, he describes the bottom planets of the universe, which are hellish planets. Atal, Vital, Stal, Taratal, Rasatal, Patal, like that. There are different planetary systems towards the bottom. And the last ones are Nark Lokas, the hellish planets. And he described in great detail different kinds of hell there are and who suffers and what kind of hell as a result of what kind of activities, sinful activities. So when Parishit Maharaj was on the verge of death, we all know, 7 days. And by the time this story is happening, couple of days have already passed and now only 4 or 5 days remaining. For his on death, he is listening to this katha without eating, sleeping, drinking, without resting. But his heart, like a Vaishnava's heart, any Vaishnava's pure Vaishnava's heart, became very compassionate towards the people of this material world. He's not thinking about his own protection, his own salvation. When he heard about this different hellish planets, he became very perturbed for the people in general, and he asked the question to his guru Sukdev Goswami in the beginning of the sixth canto. He asked that how can these people be protected from the hell, right? So Sukdev Goswami he began answering that question, and he said that there are different kinds of sinful activities. There are some small sinful activities. There are some big sinful activities. Some sinful activities are done with the mind. Some are done with the words, and some are done with the body, actually acting on the sinful activities. So depending on the gravity of the sinful activities, one has to take up a particular kind of atonement. In Hindi, we say prayashchit, right? So, and in Christianity also, people on Sunday, they go to the church and they do confession to the Father, right? That I did so and so sin, and they are doing it with sincerity of the heart. Then the Father is pardoning them on behalf of God. So that is the process in the Christianity. But in the Vedic system, we have the system of prayashchit. Depending on what kind of sinful activities you did, you will refer to the Manu Smriti or other shastras to know what should be the remedy for this sinful activity. So Sukdev Goswami gave that answer to Parishit Maharaj. So when Parishit Maharaj heard that answer, he did not fully accept that answer. He rejected it. He said that, Guru Maharaj, this doesn't look like a full solution. It is like an elephant bath. So elephant becomes dirty, he enters the water, he becomes cleansed, he comes on the shore, and he again take the sand and puts on his body. He likes to play like that. So what was the point of bath? He just did, right? So these prayashchit activities, they are like that. So you did a particular sin, and then you did a prayashchit to just remove the sinful reactions of that particular sin, but you are coming and you are again doing it, right? And you are creating further more sinful reactions. So that was not a foolproof solution. And Srila Prabhupada speaks a lot about it in the Sikshamrita, Nectar of Instructions by Rupa Goswami. The very first verse, Srila Prabhupada gives this analogy and explains in much more detail. So when Sukdev Goswami heard this reaction from Parishit Maharaj, he liked it very much. He was happy that his disciple is not accepting this lower solutions. He is looking for better solutions. So he starts speaking a better solution. He starts quoting different kinds of spiritual processes one should undertake to solve the problem of not going to hell and undergo suffering. So he started talking about different yogas, different austerities, different processes one should do and cleanse one's heart. And he said that ultimately one has to come to the point of knowledge. So one has fully realized the knowledge of one's constitutional position and once what this universe is, this is temporary place. But he was referring more of a Vedanta knowledge, which is mostly on the side of impersonalism. So he's saying that once you come to the point of knowledge, then your sinful reactions are burnt. So which is true. So the sinful reactions will get burnt. And Lord Krishna also speaks in Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, that knowledge is very powerful, right? So knowledge does burn sinful reactions. So he gave that a solution. But now we can understand this with the example of an analogy. So just imagine that sinful reactions, sinful activities are like a tree. So tree has a root under the ground, and then it has got its trunk above the ground, and above the trunk there are branches, leaves, flowers, and fruits. So all the sinful activities, it is nourishing this tree, and eventually what's the end result of the tree is the fruit, right? The fruit is a sinful reaction. So in this analogy, the doing prayashchit, doing different sorts of atonement, is like taking care of individual fruits. A sinful tree has many fruits, right? Some are big, some are small, some are still ripening, some are fully ripened and about to give results right away. So the atonement process is picking a particular fruit and taking care of that. This particular sinful reaction is taken care of. So then it is a very laborious process, and it does not stop other fruits from growing from the other branch, right? So it can keep on growing. So it's not very helpful. So the knowledge is more efficient. Coming to the point of knowledge, going through the austerity and tapasya and different yogas and purifying our existence, that is like cutting down the shoot of the tree above the trunk. So we just cut the trunk. When there is no trunk, there are no branches, all these things. So then there will not be any fruits. So this looks like a good solution. But Sukdev Goswami explains further that even this does not fully purify the heart of the practitioner. What happens? The root is still there under the ground. So even if you burn the tree from top, the root is still there. Soon the rainy seasons will come. It will rain, it will nourish the ground, and then root will again grow the trunk, and everything will again happen with the due course of time, right? So that's how this knowledge does not fully cleanse the heart, because it leaves the root. What is the root? The root is the desire to do sinful activities. The desire for sinful tendency is still in the heart. You are just not doing those activities. Let me, I would like to present it using a slide, this summary. In the last Bhagavad Gita course that I conducted, I made this slide to summarize this all the Vedic processes, how they are classified in different levels. Share screen. Everybody can see this, or most people are on the audio?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Visible.
Okay, so let us just focus on first row. So I have this 4 or 5 columns. So first, a person is sinful. They have no faith in the scriptures. So what they are doing, they are continuously doing sinful activities. So what is the state of the sinful desires in the heart? They maintain a lot of desire to enjoy in the material world. That's the second column. The third column is they have in their storehouse lot of past sinful reactions to come, right? So that is on for them. And currently they are engaging in sinful activities and they are creating more and more sins. And by doing, when we do any activity, there are 2 effects of that. First effect is you get the reaction for that activity, and second effect is your tendency to do that grows more. I can just quickly give one example. When I was in IIT, I was a very sincere student throughout my life. I never bunked a class in my life. Okay, so in my 5th year, in the 4th year, last year, by mistake I overslept and I missed a class. And I realized that, oh, nothing much happened. I missed the class, teacher didn't say anything, and I got to enjoy a little bit extra sleep. So I purposefully missed the class next week also, and that last semester I ruined my attendance terribly. So, and then when I read this in the Bhagavatam, then, oh yeah, this is what is happening. I allowed myself to relish that activity, and my tendency to do that grew more and more. So, and we all know, we all see this happening in our lives, right? When we do something first time, we get a little taste for it, we get reaction also for it. My grades went down, that's a reaction, and my taste for doing it grew. So my habits got bad. So that's what happens. So coming back to the slide. So yeah, so first row is for a person who has no faith in scriptures, who is a sinful, engaged in sinful activities. So he's just feeding this negative cycle more and more, and increasing his house of sinful reactions and suffering also. And then his desire is also becoming strong. So what happens second row? In the second row, a person has developed some faith in the scriptures. So, but he is faith in the karma kanda section. That means he's realized that simply doing activities in the material world is not solving him his problems. He need to seek out some higher help from the scriptures, from the gods, and then he's trying to look out to make his next life better, go to the heaven, enjoy. And he's seeking shelter of the scriptures and do that. So he's seeking shelter in the scriptures for 2 things. One, for doing prayashit for the sinful activities he did, and for seeking scriptures for engaging in some pious activities to make his future bright in terms of material enjoyment. So that's what he's doing. So his enjoying tendency in the heart remains, that's the second column, and his past reactions also remains in the store, but it is not growing for the sins, but it is growing for the pious activities, because he's trying to engage in the pious activities. So as we become mature in the spiritual life, we understand that any kind of sinful reaction, whether it's out of sin or out of piety, both are eventually bad. As the devotee becomes mature, he understands that. In the beginning, it seems like only the sinful reactions are bad and pious reactions are good. But even to enjoy a pious reaction, you have to take birth. And when you take birth, you are inevitably put in this precarious situation of this material world, where you are going to commit sin, because to live in this material world without committing sin is really impossible. Even in your breathing, even in your speaking, in your walking, you are killing insects, germs, and you are inevitably committing sin. So pious activity is an indirect way of going to do more sin. It is not as strong as a direct sin suggestion. So that's the second level. It's some progress. Your speed at which you are filling up your storehouse of sinful reactions has reduced, and it's only pious activities, you're trying to grow more, but your desire to enjoy is still there, very strong. Then one goes through this cycle many lifetimes. One goes to heaven. Having gone to the heaven, one realizes that, oh, even here there is no peace. There are demons attacking us, dethroning us. We have to fight with them periodically. And even in the heaven, one may think that there is a lot of enjoyment, but as one is exhausting his credit card of pious activities, one start getting very perturbed that, oh, his time is expiring here. So more you are attached, to that extent, when that object of enjoyment is taken away from you, that becomes the cause of suffering. That's why it is said that once one die, there is a suffering of like 40,000 scorpions biting at the same time. But this is not so for the devotees who have already died before one dies. As Radhanath Maharaj said once, that we should try to die before we die. That means we should become detached before our actual death happens. So when actual transition happens for the soul out of body, there is no pain, because we are already like a dry coconut inside the shell. We are not connected. It makes sound when you move it. So this is our goal, that how we can reach that stage of detachment while living, Jivan Mukta stage, right? So the person in the second row, when he's trying to only focus on the pious activities and avoiding sin from the first row, he's also realizing that, okay, my peace of mind is still not increasing. I am having some enjoyment. I'm having less physical suffering, but the satisfaction is not there, right? So then one goes to the level of karma yoga. And what happens in the karma yoga? One learns that, because in the second stage, one is doing karma, which is like pious activities, but with a desire to enjoy. So that karma is not solving the problem. So in the karma yoga, one does the karma without desire to enjoy, but one is doing as a matter of duty. Karmanyavadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. That's a key words to describe the karma yoga. So what happens in this, as one does it as a matter of duty, then one's heart start becoming clean, and one stops the pious reactions also. In the second row, pious reactions are happening. In the first row, pious and sinful reactions are happening. In the second row, only pious reactions are happening dominantly. Sinful reactions are significantly stopped. In the third row, both pious and sinful reactions are stopping, right? And this, so what is happening to his storehouse? His storehouse is still there. He's emptying the storehouse of past reactions, but he's not creating new reactions anymore, that person. And his heart is also getting cleansed. So this is the karma yoga. So when karma yoga reaches a particular threshold, then one can undergo jnana and dhyana yoga, basically become more serious in this yoga. So karma yoga is a preliminary stage of yoga from where one can jump into either jnana or yogic process like dhyana yoga or bhakti yoga. So karma yoga sets the stage for a person. Then what happens in the jnana and dhyana yoga? In this stage, heart is more and more cleansed, but not fully, and the past karma are now burning at a faster stage, because one is now realizing one is able to understand this world is a temporary place. Once activities to engage in the material activity is also decreasing. So in the jnana stage, one is not even doing karma yoga as a matter of duty. One is renounced from the active social life. That's a true jnana yoga. One goes to vanaprastha or takes up sannyas, or go to cave and do meditation. So one's active social life is not there, so karma is not being done. His affinity for the work is also stopped, and he's practicing pure spiritual processes at this stage more and more. But what is happening, the desire, so the active engagement is stopped almost fully, but and the heart is also cleansed, but the seed in the heart is there. And why the seed is there? Because it is still not love of God, right? So anything which is not love of God in the heart, it's a dangerous thing to keep in your heart. If the heart is not filled with love of God, then we still have danger, because we are carrying the danger internally. So in the bhakti yoga, only in the bhakti yoga, heart is fully cleansed. And then in the Lord Krishna takes care of all the past sinful activities. There is Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, last chapter, like Sarvadharman Paritijya Mam Ekam Sharanam Braja. So the sinful reactions are taken care of just at the initial stages of bhakti. This is not even the main result of bhakti. So the main result of bhakti is the love of God, right? So the sinful activities are taken care of, and one's activities are pure devotional service, and this is the perfection of existence. This is what everybody should aspire for. So now I will connect back to the discussions that Sukhdev Goswami and Parishit Maharaj are having. So this is the verse that Sukhdev Goswami says, Kechit kevalya bhaktya vasudeva parayana agham dhunvanti karsneya niharam iva bhaskara. That only a rare person, I'm reading it from Bhagavatam, only a rare person who has adopted complete unalloyed devotional service to Krishna can uproot the weeds of sinful actions with no possibility that they will revive. He can do this simply by discharging devotional service, just as the sun can immediately dissipate fog by its rays. And Sukadeva Goswami further confirms in the next verse, my dear king, if a sinful person engages in service of a bona fide devotee of the Lord and thus learns how to dedicate his life unto the lotus feet of Krishna, he can be completely purified. So he's making it sure that only this person can be completely purified. One cannot be purified merely by undergoing austerities, penances, brahmacharya, and other methods of atonement I have previously described. So Sukadeva Goswami is acknowledging to Parishad Maharaj that I tried to give you lower process previously, but those processes do not fully cleanse the heart. Only devotional service. In this regard, I just got memorized of a pastime in Chaitanya Leela. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to go to the house of Srivas Thakur in the evening, and the whole night devotees will close the door and they will engage in this wonderful pastimes of chanting and dancing. So, and it will create some noise, it will go outside, and people outside, they wanted to see what's happening, but doors were closed, so they used to feel envious that what are these guys doing? They're not letting us enter. And they would accuse Srivas Thakur of doing some Kali worship and then working with the women and wine inside and doing all sorts of ghastly activities. And there were some innocent people also outside who were curious to go in. One of the innocent people outside was a Brahmana who was very sincere Brahmana, and his austerity level was very high. He would not eat anything. He would sustain only by drinking milk, right? Can we imagine only drinking milk and not eating anything else? So it is such a hard life. And this Brahmana was really sincere, very good brahmacharya level and practicing this austerity. So he requested Srivas Thakur very humbly that can you please let me in, and I want to see your chanting and dancing going on inside. Srivas Thakur was hesitant, but being a kind, compassionate devotee, he finally agreed, and he said, you can hide in a corner behind this thing and do not make your presence be felt. Otherwise, other devotees may not like, I let you in without their permission. So he, out of compassion, he let him in. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, and Nityanand Prabhu, Advaitacharya, everybody, Advaita Pandit Prabhu, everybody came, and they were engaging in this chanting. In the middle, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that somehow today I'm not feeling that mood. I'm not feeling that ecstasy. Looks like there is somebody present here who is not supposed to be here. It's disturbing the mood. So it says that, that the consciousness of people really affect each other. If you're sitting in the same room and a pure devotee walks in, you will see that how your consciousness becomes purified by his presence, his or her presence. So, and similarly, when a materialistic person with a lot of desires to enjoy and a lot of passion for material activities, when you go in their association, you will see your consciousness being affected by that. So, so it's a very subtle thing that does affect. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu being God will not be affected, but he is playing a Leela here. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that there is somebody who is not supposed to be here, and Srivas Thakur became very disturbed and afraid. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu looked at him. Srivas, are you sure there is nobody who is not supposed to be here? Srivas said, my lord, I agree there's a poor Brahmana here, but he's a very good Brahmana. He just lives his life drinking milk, and he's a very good brahmachari and all. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu shouted that, do you think that milk drunkard can see my audience? Do you think that simply by living on drinking milk, you become qualified to see this, like to get this association? And that Brahmana, when he overheard Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying like this and chastising Srivas Thakur and that Brahmana indirectly, he became very sad and he started walking out. he actually felt guilty and he accepted his mistake. So as he's walking out, accepting his mistake, and in a humble way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually stopped him and said that, I actually will let you, because of a change of your heart and you're accepting a mistake, I will let you, I'll let you be here. So what made him qualified to attain the association of this great devotees? It was his humble heart. It was not the austerities that made him qualified. So this is a point, that no level of austerity or fasting or any other material qualification can make us attractive in the eyes of God as the simple humble heart, with a sincere heart, and then devotion to Lord, devotion to his devotees. Only that. Now, why? So we discussed all these different yogic processes, and we discussed their progressive stages and effectiveness. So why is this like this? So let's connect it to the original problem, because of which we are all here in this material world. The original problem is that we were with Krishna and we wanted to be independent of Krishna. We wanted to enjoy away from Krishna. That's our original disease. The disease of that leads to the misidentification of ourselves. So then we think, oh, we are the enjoyer. That's our misidentification. Krishna is the enjoyer. We are supposed to be enjoyed by Krishna, and in that process, we enjoy the most, right? By being enjoyed by Krishna. But when we wanted to be independent enjoyer ourselves, that becomes our misidentification, and that leads to the false ego. So soul is pure by nature, and because we want to, because we hold on to this false ego. False ego is the first thing that we hold on to, and then along with the false ego comes this material intelligence, material mind, all the subtle body, and around that comes all this gross body, and we became encased. Otherwise, there is no business for the material energy to touch us. So we get connected to the interface of false ego, right? Once we let this false ego go away from us, that is our liberation. Okay, now let's connect it to the different yogic processes. So we discuss about sinful person, karma kandi person, karma yogi person, jnani and dhyani and bhakti. So until the stage of bhakti, this false ego does not go away, right? So until the karma yogi, we are still trying to cleanse ourselves from the external things, from the activities perspective. And in the jnana stage also, we hold on to the false ego. And only when we accept Krishna as our Lord, Krishna's devotees as our masters, right? Then we truly are established in our original position. That's our real ego. And then false ego is gone. And that's why that is actually the cause of liberation. Bhakti, that's why effective, because it puts us in our original constitutional position. So this is the whole connection. I wanted to very in a nutshell summarize. This is the last session of Bhagavad Gita. I just, you are a very advanced audience here, so I just gave that summary. Does it make sense? I can stop here and see if there is any discussion, any sharing of your realizations, any questions. Does it make sense?
Yeah, we can take up questions, Udit. This is our question time.
Okay, sir. If anyone want to ask something or some doubts or some learnings or realizations, then please you can.
तो मुझे एक क्वेश्चन था मेरा, जैसे हम लोग भक्ति करते हैं तो कई बार हम लोगों को वो रहता है कि नॉलेज गेन करना चाहिए, कई बार ऐसे मूड आ जाता है कि ज्ञान योग में जा रहे हैं क्या हम लोग बहुत ज्यादा ये पढ़ो वो पढ़ो ऐसा उसमें चले जाते हैं। तो भक्ति के पर्सपेक्टिव से मतलब वो कितना उसको मतलब कैसे जस्टिफाई कर सकते हैं, वो ठीक है कि कैसे देखना चाहिए उसको?
या हमें हमेशा बैलेंस रखना चाहिए। हमें इस चीज को समझना चाहिए कि हम सब कुछ नहीं समझ सकते। कृष्णा कहते हैं भगवद गीता में 10th चैप्टर में क्या है कि राम से न सीता जगत, that simply by a fraction of me I am holding this whole universe, right? I'm not remembering that verse. So basically knowledge, we can keep on analyzing this material world, different tattvas and our identity, There is no end to this, and we can go very, very deep and get lost in it. So jnana is not our real goal. We cannot anyway understand, comprehend Krishna with the knowledge. We only want to know that much, that we can love Krishna. Once we have reached that stage of loving Krishna, Krishna says that he's in our heart. And there's a Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 10th chapter itself, verse number 8, 9, 10, 11, that Aham Sarvasya Prabhu Matsaram Pravartate, and Maschita Madgata Prana Bodhyanta Parasparam, that's the second verse, that my devotees understand that I am the source of everything. That is the nutshell of all the knowledge. Krishna is source of everything. And then, having understood that root of not, then you can go in detail that how Krishna is source of everything, right? But there's no end to knowing that. If you understand that, you have understood enough, and you can know a little bit more to the extent you can without sacrificing your primary devotional activities. That's okay. But main thing is to glorify Krishna, Maschita Madgata Prana, to discuss about Krishna with other devotees and nourish each other. So when you do that, Tesam Satayuktanam Bhayatam Prit Purvakam, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yenamam Upyantite. Third verse, Krishna says that these devotees who are engaged thus in nourishing each other and talking about me, to them I give whatever necessary knowledge is there. Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam, I give them the Buddhi Yoga. And the last verse says, Tesam Evanu Kampatam Aham Agyana Jamtama Nashami Atma Bhavasto Gyan Deepina Bhashuta. That I am residing in their heart, and with the lamp of knowledge I guide them towards me. So Krishna will give us whatever necessary knowledge we need, by which we can love him more. And the goal of everything is to love Krishna. And if you are able to do that, there is no need for anything else. That's the conclusion. So if you are learning about knowledge and you are feeling more enlivened and more appreciating Krishna, then that's good. Keep on going. But if it's becoming dry and you are getting more and more disconnected from Krishna, and you are just more lost into analysis, dry analysis, then that's not necessary. So like this, we can make our judgment and also consult devotees. Does it make sense, Ashwin?
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Nanda Kumar Prabhu ji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, मेरा भी एक क्विक क्वेश्चन है प्रभु जी। तो जैसे जो आपने चैतन्य चरितामृत से जो पास्ट टाइम शेयर किया था, जहाँ जो ब्राह्मण आ गया था, तो उसमें जो आपने बताया सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज है नॉट द ऑस्टेरिटी बट द हम्बल हार्ट। लेकिन भगवत गीता में हम देखते हैं कृष्ण भगवान हर जगह काफी एम्फसाइज कर रहे हैं अबाउट द ऑस्टेरिटी, एंड देन चैतन्य महाप्रभु is also talking about or showing by the example or by this pastime that more than austerity what he appreciates is the humble heart. तो मेरा दो क्वेश्चन है, एक तो प्रभु जी पहला जो कि ये दो कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन सा है, और क्वेश्चन दूसरा ये कि हम्बल हार्ट के लिए क्या प्रोसेस है, क्योंकि सेम चीज ऐसा लगता है जो आपने एग्जांपल दिया था, जो रूट है हमारा सारा प्रॉब्लम का, क्योंकि आप ऊपर कितना भी ठीक कर लो बर्न हो जाता है, बट फिर भी बारिश के कारण फिर से आते हैं, तो वो कहीं ना कहीं उसी से कनेक्टेड है।
ओके, सो पहले समझना चाहिए कि हर चीज का स्थान है, ऑस्टेरिटी का भी स्थान है। एकादशी हम करते हैं, वो भी ऑस्टेरिटीज है। ये ऑस्टेरिटीज का पर्पस है टू प्यूरिफाई आवर एग्जिस्टेंस ग्रॉसली फ्रॉम द ग्रॉस लेवल, राइट, and then it will go subtle, but ultimately once that purification has been attained, then it's a humility that will take us further. But in the very beginning, what humility we have is not the spiritual humility. It is just feeling materially impoverished, we cannot do anything. That it is that stage. That is not as humility. Humility is on the spiritual ground, that I understand that Krishna is Supreme Lord, this material world is Krishna's energy. When we see that connection of Krishna with everything, and then we feel humble as if we are nothing with the connection of Krishna, that is where the humility begins. So we sometimes misunderstand this feeling helpless and poor and unable to be humility. No, humility, actually in true sense, the person who is really capable can practice humility. Then only we know that he is truly humble. Otherwise, it could be mixed with the other feeling of helplessness. So yesterday only I was reading pastime of Amrish Maharaj. Amrish Maharaj, he was so detached from everything, and then he considered this world nothing but a piece of stone, in like not insignificant. He was engaging everything in service of Krishna, and seeing his so much attachment to Krishna and devotion to Krishna and service to Krishna, Krishna actually, Lord Vishnu, actually installed Sudarshan Chakra in his kingdom for his protection, right? And when Durvasa Muni came, that pastime happened. Durvasa Muni was so proud and so powerful, so much yogic siddhis he has, and he became unnecessarily angry, feeling proud, and then he tries to, punish Amrish Maharaj, and Amrish Maharaj had fasted for the whole year by then, and not really, and then for last 3 days he was not even drinking water, right? And then he just wanted to honor the Lord Vishnu's fasting process, Ekadashi process. So he just drank little water. Drinking water is not considered eating, and also not considered not eating. It's called na asita. Na asita means nasta. That became the word nasta today. So when we eat in the morning. So he just did that consulting brahmanas. And then this whole pastime happened, and Durvasa Muni had to run away. Sudarshan Chakra was chasing him, trying to hurt his devotee. And then he was running everywhere throughout the world, and he went to the Lord Vishnu's loka also. So in the first time in the history that somebody is standing in the Vaikuntha loka and he is suffering because Sudarshan Chakra is just behind him, causing him heat and pain. So why that happened? Because he offended his devotees. So when you are offending devotees, not even the spiritual world, you will get a relief. So that's a lesson. And the Lord Vishnu directed him back to the Amrish Maharaj. He came back and he fell his feet. So during this whole time, Amrish Maharaj was fasting. Whole 1 year passed. This is the point I want to make. So Amrish Maharaj was not feeling, oh, I am a devotee of Lord. There is no need for austerity for me. He was still following all this Vedic process, welcoming a guest, following all the rules and regulations, and he fasted for the whole day. He was expecting Durvasa Muni to come back and have his lunch, and then only he will eat. Whole year he fasted again, and when he came back, Durvasa Muni fell at his feet. He was feeling so sad, and he was falling at his feet, and then finally they reconciled and he fed him, and then Durvasa Muni asked him to eat. So when one becomes truly a devotee of Lord, when the desire is to serve Krishna, then austerity, then one's desire is not to enjoy, then austerity is not feels like an austerity, it's just natural. And then one may eat a lot and one may not eat at all. They are similar for a devotee, right? So at that stage. But how to come to that stage of purification? One has to go through this basic purificatory process, and austerity is an important part which is recommended. So Krishna is not recommended unnecessarily paining our body. He's just recommending do enough to pinch yourself a little bit, so that we become aware that I am doing it for a higher cause of attaining Krishna Bhakti and attaining purification. So that consciousness is important while doing austerity, and not that see how much austerity I am doing. And that is actually going to make you more proud and feel envious or offend other devotees. So that's not useful austerity. But even to do the austerity right, you need to have some element of humility. And once you become purified, then only you can practice true humility after that. So these are some thoughts. I may have gone here and there in a couple of places, but I hope some message is given to you.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Humility definition is very good. Yeah, that's a lot of misunderstanding around term humility in our bhakti. Yeah, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, मेरा एक क्वेश्चन था प्रभु जी।
जी प्रभु
जी, जैसे मतलब भक्ति कर रहे हैं धीरे धीरे स्लोली, बट स्टिल एंड आई अंडरस्टैंड कि उस लेवल पे नहीं है कि अभी मटेरियल डिजायर ऑल टुगेदर चली जाएंगी। तो अब इस लेवल पे हमें कैसे उन मटेरियल डिजायर को जो आती हैं उन्हें कंट्रोल करना चाहिए, या कैसे टैकल करना चाहिए?
तो भगवान कृष्णा का जो सोल्यूशन है भगवत गीता में वो ये है कि आर्टिफिशियल मत बनो, राइट? मतलब अर्जुन बोल रहे थे कि मुझे युद्ध नहीं करना, आई डोंट वांट टू फाइट, आई वांट टू रिनाउंस, आई कैन लिव बेगिंग. Krishna chastised him. Krishna said, you can't sustain. People will speak about infamy of you and you can't tolerate it, and then you will fight and kill at that time. So better go through the gradual purification, right? And that's why we need guidance of guru, that who can understand our level of consciousness and who can decide the next stage for us. So when people are ready, the Guru will suggest extreme steps, faster steps. When we are not ready, we have to go through the purificatory process, and then it's better. So depending on our position, when we have material desires, then we can do it in a way that it's in a spiritual culture, in a pious way, under the guidance of Guru and by practicing bhakti. So we can go through this purificatory process. We can start seeing Krishna's connection with everything. We can see that we are property of Krishna, our family is property of Krishna, our house, our wealth, everything is property of Krishna. Let me engage everything into service of Krishna. That's why we make our house as temple, and Krishna is installed in the center of that temple. And even though we are not fully convinced of that, but we start living our life, we start seeing Krishna in the center of our house, then we get reminded, oh, why this deity is there, because they are the real owners. And then we do some regular worship to them. Sometimes we are tired, we are lazy, still, um, by compulsion we take bath, we rise up early, we serve them. Sometimes we don't feel like, we still do it. The whole point is to practice that mindset, and in this, by doing it again and again and again, this consciousness will grow and become fixed up. So it's okay, we are all caught up in this material world. It's okay. Main thing is not to get perturbed about it, not to overreact it, just accept it and know our goal and spiritualize our life systematically. And there are standard processes. Srila Prabhupada has given us very easy process. We should be so grateful and fortunate. The Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us Kevala Anand Kanda, that our process is only enjoyment, fasting and feasting, right? So only chanting and dancing. So it's very easy, unlike other doing austerity, doing dhyan and dry speculative knowledge. We don't have to do all that. Everything is very relishable. And then only thing, so but why this devotional process is not able to be taken up by everybody if it is so easy and so relishable? Because of the false ego is very strong in some people. They cannot tolerate God, they cannot tolerate submission to the higher authority. They want to be God, like Mayavadis, right? So because of that, they are not able to take up. But if by grace of Krishna, by grace of Guru, and by grace of devotees, if we are able to feel that humility and feel and accept Krishna as master, then we are in a very safe process. Then we don't have to struggle like other yogic processes so much. It's very easy process for us. We just have to just go into association of devotees, remind each other constantly that so that we don't fall into Maya. We are always alert, but we are not artificially also making it very painful for us. We are gradually, growing. And if we keep doing, main thing is that whatever standard Rupa Goswami says, that make a standard for you. Whatever standard you set, do that. That if you, I think it's in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, this kind of the instructions, that the main thing is to make progress, you should commit to a standard and then follow that. It's not that you should jump to the highest standard right away. If you follow, the main thing is in following what you committed. When you do that, your stamina grows, and then you will go to the next level. And then your goal is also not in this life to go to the 100% level, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will fill the gap for us. Our goal is to show our commitment in this life and attract their mercy, right? So keep setting up a standard with the help of your mentor. This is my standard of spiritual practice, and I will just follow it diligently. That's all we can focus. So devotee's life is a mix of little bit stress and happiness. They don't take too much stress, because taking too much stress is also a sign that we don't have faith in Krishna. And they are also not oblivious or careless. That means we don't care about things, so they take stress in the right amount. So, again, I may have gone on many places, but do you think that there was some answer?
Yeah. So when Prabhuji, we are saying like taking or setting standards, it means like taking maybe monthly vows or yearly vows, is it?
Yes. So we carefully choose that now I want to do this much. And then if you do that, and then Krishna will test you. Whatever you choose, that will become hard. If it could be one round also, even that will feel like 16 or 64 rounds for a person who is trying to do one round. So whatever we choose, Krishna will test us in that, and the test will feel very similar. When you raise your standard, the similar test will come. It will all feel very similar. The goal is to keep following that.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji, I have a question. अभी हमने 5 stages के बारे में डिस्कशन किया अलग अलग लेवल पे, तो हम कैसे एनालाइज कर सकते हैं कि वी आर ऑन व्हाट स्टेज?
आई थिंक हम जो प्रोसेस फॉलो कर रहे हैं वो एक्चुअली भक्ति योगा को ही फॉलो कर रहे हैं, पर क्या है कि वी आर नॉट एबल टू डू प्योर भक्ति योगा, सो वी आर डूइंग बेसिकली sadhana bhakti, and then it will become raga nuga bhakti naturally.
Okay.
And then yeah.
Yes, please.
So we are on the 5th row, but not in the pure stage. So we are following this elevated process that Prabhupada has given. We don't have to go through the staircase.
Oh, yeah, Prabhupada already have given us the shortcut.
Yes.
Way.
Because what is the key? Why we can do this shortcut? Because somehow, by mercy of Guru and Krishna, we don't have that ego against God, at least grossly. Certainly, it might be there. At least grossly, we have accepted, and that's why we have the luxury of this process given to us.
Yes, yeah, and also only through with the help of knowledge we can burn the root cause of our sinful
Bhakti,
desires.
bhakti.
Okay. Knowledge का reference क्या?
Knowledge, yeah. Knowledge burns it. Okay, you are right. Okay, you are. Knowledge is able to burn, and bhakti is of course able to burn. Everything higher process will do more, but knowledge was not able to cleanse the heart completely. That was the limitation of knowledge.
Okay. So, but we have to go through the knowledge, then only we can achieve that bhakti process.
No. As I said, we are following elevated process. So we're directly onto the bhakti's line, and along with the bhakti comes knowledge and renunciation. It's in the second chapter or the second chapter of Bhagavatam, first canto. That by practicing bhakti, Vasudeva Bhagavati, Bhakti Yoga Prajita. What is that? Gyan, Vairagya. That Gyan and Vairagya come along with the bhakti. So we don't have to strive for them separately.
Okay. Any concrete or any absolute form of knowledge that we should acquire for, because bhakti process ke liye bhi, I think there should be some learnings.
See, so knowledge, it means, because every process requires to do something, to meditate on something, right? So karma yoga, dhyana yoga, everything is part in every yoga. But when we say knowledge, it means a special process where we renounce the social activity, where we practice austerities, where we do this, read scripture. This is meant by that knowledge. The word knowledge has a deeper meaning to that. It's not just the act of knowing. That is involved everywhere. In bhakti, the act of knowing is involved. And bhakti also involves some basic knowledge of knowing our relation with Krishna, the relation world with Krishna. That knowledge is there, and that's the crux of the knowledge.
क्योंकि normally क्या होता है कि not in case of most of the devotees, कोई charity कर रहा है, someone is helping the poor, और कुछ इस तरह का social activity, sponsoring the education, तो उन्हें लगता है कि मतलब ऐसा लगता है कि they are doing very good for the society and it is a topmost thing one can do for the humanity. तो वो चीज create हो जाती है mind में, because
actually जब ऐसा हम देख रहे हैं कि कुछ डिवोटी ऐसा कर रहे हैं, हमें उनको कभी डिस्टर्ब नहीं, उनको अप्रिशिएट करना चाहिए और उनको इंस्पायर करना चाहिए. मतलब हमारा प्रोसेस इज अबाउट इंस्पायरिंग, नॉट अबाउट मेकिंग समबडी अनइंस्पायर्ड और डीमोरलाइज्ड. कृष्णा तो what to speak of, these devotees are great, they are doing this in connection with Krishna. Krishna तो बाकी कर्म योगी के बारे में भी बोलते हैं, be careful not to disturb them, right? Inspire them how to engage them correctly. मतलब Krishna is very kind in accommodating everybody. So जब कोई ऐसा कर रहा है तो अंडरस्टैंड कि ये हमारा जो टेंडेंसीज है ना बहुत डीप रूटेड है. वी कैन नॉट जस्ट वी फील दैट ओ एक बार बोल दिया समझ क्यों नहीं आ रहा है, ऐसे नहीं है. बहुत बहुत डीप रूटेड है और कृष्णा की ही पावर है जो उनको चेंज कर पाएगी. तो हमारा गोल होना चाहिए कि उनको कृष्णा से कनेक्ट कराएं ज्यादा और उनको इंस्पायर करें, क्योंकि हम ज्यादा ओवर करेक्ट करेंगे तो हम उनको साथ अनइंस्पायर कर दें. तो इसलिए भी थोड़ा सा depending on the level of our maturity, we can take up that much role of a guru, because when we instruct like this, we are becoming guru. So in the beginning stages, when we ourselves are not pure, we have to be careful and we have to let Krishna act in their heart and present Krishna to them. Like as long as it's gross sinful activities, we should try to protect them. But these are like subtle that they are doing this. If they're not chanting, inspire them to chant. And but do not cut down something nice they are doing. This is the approach I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Yes, Prabhuji. And last question, for non-devotees, how can we how can we convey to them what is the ultimate purpose of going through these processes? Because for a devotee, it is very simple and clear to get the love of the God, to serve the God, to get love of the God. But for a non-devotee, if we want to convey such kind of things, such kind of knowledge to a non-devotee, then what should we
Got it.
convey him? Yes, Prabhuji.
Got it. Before I answer, Naveen Prabhu, आपका hand raise है वहाँ पर या फिर वो गलती से हो गया होगा? तो ठीक है.
प्रभु जी गलती से हो
So
गया होगा. प्लस आई वांटेड टू से कि आपके लिए लेट हो रहा होगा जी, तो बता दीजिएगा आप. सॉरी.
ठीक है, अभी भी फैमिली कीर्तन में है. पर या लेट दिस बी लास्ट क्वेश्चन इफ एवरीबॉडी इज ओके.
जी
we'll just
एक
answer.
छोटा सा क्वेश्चन था.
ठीक है, आपको भी ले लेंगे. तो ठीक
काफी
है.
देर से लाइन में है.
यस यस. ठीक है, मतलब आपने बोलने की हिम्मत की तो आप भी इंक्लूड हो गए. सो उदित प्रभु, आई थिंक नॉन डिवोटीज के लिए क्या है कि डिफरेंट लोग डिफरेंट चीजों से मोटिवेट होते हैं, राइट? तो जैसे चाणक्य ने भी हमें बताया ना, शाम दाम दंड भेद, वैसे ही हमें सोचना चाहिए कि कौन सी चीज किसको अट्रैक्ट करेगी. तो कुछ लोग आर बेसिकली इंस्पायर्ड बाय फियर, राइट? सो और कुछ लोग they are inspired by the sense of duty. और कुछ लोग are inspired by love.
Recognition.
Yeah, recognition, name and fame. You are right. I forgot that one stage also. Some people are inspired by the wealth and what is there in it for them, right? So इसलिए बोलते हैं कि वैश्य जो शूद्र लोग हैं मेंटलिटी, उनको पनिशमेंट से डर लगता है, तो उनसे कोई काम कराना है तो पनिशमेंट दिखाओ. और जो वैश्य लोग हैं उनको प्रॉफिट चाहिए, तो उनको बोलो कि देखो ये मिलेगा आपको. क्षत्रिय लोग हैं, दे आर मोटिव सेंस ऑफ ड्यूटी, कि ये रूल है हमारे राज्य के, तो ये आपको फॉलो करने हैं, तो हाँ ठीक है, बिल्कुल ऐसे करेंगे. और जो ब्राह्मण है, जो प्योर वैष्णव है, दे आर डूइंग लव ऑफ गॉड. ब्राह्मणास आर आल्सो शास्त्रिक रूल्स and the kshatriya like material rules of the kingdom society, right? So इस तरह से different लोग motivate होते हैं. तो आपको जो materialistic लोग बोल रहे हैं, तो I think one common I think everybody would want is happiness, that how to not suffer and how to. So उनको बताइए कैसे material world temporary है, कैसे आप जो भी एस्पायर कर रहे हो, मनी से भी हैप्पीनेस नहीं मिलता. एग्जाम्पल कोट करिए, न्यूज़पेपर में बहुत सारे एग्जाम्पल मिल जाएंगे. देखो ये इतने पैसे वाले हैं फिर भी सफर कर रहे हैं, इसका मतलब है सफरिंग, मतलब हैप्पीनेस कहीं और से मिलेगा. तो इस तरह से आप अपना थोड़ा सा इंटेलिजेंस लगा के समझिए कि ये बंदे का मोटिवेशन कहाँ है, उसको कहाँ से कनेक्ट करना है. ठीक है, तो मैंने पूरा आंसर नहीं दिया, आपके पास पूरा होमवर्क करने को है, लेकिन ऐसे आप समझ सकते हो.
I got the broader view. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yes, very nice. दशावतार प्रभु जी.
थैंक यू प्रभु जी. थैंक यू फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल फॉर द वंडरफुल लेक्चर प्रभु जी. काफी अच्छा लेक्चर था. मुझे मेरा क्वेश्चन रिगार्डिंग है, मतलब कमिटमेंट से, जो आप बता रहे थे कि हमें कुछ कमिटमेंट्स करनी चाहिए तभी हम भक्ति में रह सकते हैं. तो प्रभु जी कभी कभी हम कमिटमेंट्स को फॉलो करते हैं, बट धीरे धीरे फिर बोर होने लग जाते हैं, मतलब डेली वही चीज, और उसके लिए फिर हम थोड़ा सा इधर उधर भागने लगते हैं. लाइक डेट की भक्ति में ही हम कुछ चीज़ें करने लग जाते हैं हम ऐसे, और थोड़ी तीव्रता से भक्ति करते हैं, बट फिर हमारे जो बेसिक कमिटमेंट्स थी वो हिल जाती हैं थोड़ी सी. तो जी किस तरह से हमें कमिटमेंट्स को ध्यान में रखते हुए आगे भी बढ़ना है, मतलब कमिटमेंट्स को धीरे धीरे और अच्छे से मतलब करना है, और बेसिक चीज़ें तो हमें अच्छे से करनी है, तो वो थोड़ा सा मतलब प्रॉब्लम आता है प्रभु जी. तो
यस समझ रहा हूँ, मैं समझ रहा हूँ आपका क्वेश्चन. तो पहले मेरे मन में एक पिक्चर आया अभी जस्ट, जैसे आप बोल रहे थे कि हम ट्राई करते हैं यहाँ वहाँ. तो इमेजिन अ बर्ड सिटिंग ऑन अ शिप इन द मिडल ऑफ अ ओशन, राइट? तो बर्ड उस शिप पे बैठा है और उसको एक कॉन्टिनेंट से दूसरे कॉन्टिनेंट पे जाना है, राइट? अमेरिका से एशिया जाना है, इंडिया जाना है, तो इतना दूर का जर्नी है, बर्ड तो फ्लाई नहीं कर सकता. तो अगर शिप मिल गया तो शिप पे बैठा है और शिप जाएगा, इवेंचुअली 7 दिनों में पहुंचा देगा. अब वो इम्पेशेंट हो रहा है, बर्ड बैठे बैठे होता है, मैं मुझे फ्लाई करना है, तो उड़ के जा रहा है बहुत दूर और देख रहा है कहीं कुछ आर पार छोर ही नहीं है, कहीं पर कुछ है ही नहीं, तो लौट के आके वापस शिप पे बैठ जाता है, राइट? तो मेरे मन में ये इमेजरी मेरे मन में क्विकली आई जैसे आप बोल रहे, तो हमें इसको समझना चाहिए कि कहीं पे कुछ और शेल्टर नहीं है, भक्ति ही एक शेल्टर है। अगर हम उसमें जितना कन्विंस हो जाएंगे ना, उतना हम तीव्रता से अंदर जाएंगे इसके शेल्टर लेंगे। फिर हम यहाँ वहाँ टाइम वेस्ट नहीं करेंगे, इससे टाइम वेस्ट से क्या होता है कि थोड़ा इनएफिशिएंसी हो जाती है, तो टाइम ज़्यादा लग जाएगा। पर इवेंचुअली द मेन पार्ट इज दैट वी कम बैक, वी आर स्टिल प्रोटेक्टेड, बट इट वी आर वेस्टिंग टाइम। जैसे कि आपको जाना है बॉम्बे से दिल्ली और पहुंच के आप अहमदाबाद और उतर के प्लेटफॉर्म से ट्रेन चली गई, आप घूम रहे हो, फिर दूसरी ट्रेन में आओगे, फिर जाओगे आगे, तो टाइम वेस्ट क्यों करना, बैठे रहो, वो पहुंच जाओगे आगे, राइट। तो अब वो कन्विक्शन कैसे आएगा? एक तो कन्विक्शन प्रभुपाद नेक्टर इंस्ट्रक्शन में बताते हैं कि कई बार लोग सीखते हैं सिंपली शास्त्र पढ़ के, वो सीख जाते हैं कि दूसरों का एक्सपीरियंस पढ़ लेते हैं, स्टोरी पढ़ लेते हैं और देख लेते हैं अपने आसपास, और दे आर फर्स्ट क्लास लर्नर। But sometimes not everybody is first class learner, and there is okay. This is okay. We can aspire, but we may not be that person. So as long as we undergo suffering ourselves in 1 or 2 rounds, we can get the point, and then we become first class learners. That's also okay. But we should be alert. So this requires mercy of devotees, and this requires a knowledge of scriptures, and this our experience. When we fuse all of this together, then the realization comes. थोड़ा सा कुछ नॉइस आ रहा है, पता नहीं कोई कुछ बोलना चाह रहे हैं क्या?
नो प्रोजेक्ट, सॉरी, वो थोड़ा सा
कोई बात नहीं, चलो मैं आगे बढ़ता हूँ। तो इस तरह का कन्विक्शन कई बार शास्त्र पढ़ के नहीं आ पाता सीधा, लर्निंग फ्रॉम, बिकॉज हमारे प्रीवियस लाइफ, वो लोग प्रीवियस लाइफ से एक्सपीरियंस है, तभी वो पढ़ते हैं इस लाइफ में, क्विकली उनको समझ में आ जाता है। पर हम लोग शायद नहीं है प्रीवियस लाइफ से एक्सपीरियंस, तो हमें इस लाइफ में एक्सपीरियंस चाहिए। पर एज लॉन्ग एज वी हैव रेड स्क्रिप्चर्स, we can remember it, and devotees can remind us, we can connect all the points together and become convinced. That's also okay. But what is not okay is that again पुनः चर्विताम सर्वनाम, as प्रहलाद महाराज बोलते हैं, तो वो नहीं करना है हमें। तो उससे बचने के लिए डिवोटी एसोसिएशन चाहिए। तो अल्टीमेटली उसमें पूरा पैकेज मिल जाता है डिवोटी एसोसिएशन, हमें इंस्ट्रक्शन मिल जाती है आगे कैसे बढ़ना है, हमें प्रोटेक्शन मिल जाती है, हमें इंस्पिरेशन मिल जाती है। तो एज लॉन्ग एज हमें अपराध नहीं करना है डिवोटीज को, हम डिवोटी एसोसिएशन का शेल्टर ले सकते हैं। तो बहुत सारा बड़ा आंसर हो सकता है, पर इतना ही मैं कहूंगा अभी।
नहीं, प्रोजेक्ट काफी इफेक्टिव।
तो जी एक लास्ट क्वेश्चन ले सकते हैं क्या प्रदीप प्रभु का?
ठीक है प्रभु, आप तो हम सबके गुरु हैं, बताइए।
अरे he is waiting quite some time, so yes प्रदीप प्रभु, this last question.
Okay, yes. हरे कृष्ण, थैंक यू प्रोजेक्ट। वैसे तो ज्यादातर चीजें जो आपने बताई ना, वो सारी रिलेट हो रही थी एक दूसरे के पास, तो डाउट्स क्लियर हो गए। पर एक रह गया कि हम ना बुद्धि से, जैसे आपने कहा, ये समझ में आया कि बुद्धि से समझने की कोशिश करते हैं, तो ये अपने आप में ही सटल लेवल का अहंकार है कि हम अपनी बुद्धि से भगवान को समझने की कोशिश करते हैं। पर प्रभु जी, कई बार ऐसा होता है कि आप किसी और से चर्चा कर रहे होते हो, या फिर किसी और ध्यान योगी का कुछ पढ़ रहे होते हो, आपके पास कुछ स्पिरिचुअल आपको हाथ लग जाता है, आपको वो जमता है, आपको लॉजिकली ठीक लगता है और आपको बात जम जाती है, पर वो आपको आगे किसी और डायरेक्शन में जाता हुआ दिखता है। तो उन्हें ऑल टुगेदर एक साथ हटा देना कि नहीं, ये गलत है, जबकि आपको ठीक लग रहा हो कुछ लेवल पे कि नहीं, ये इस हद तक मेरे सवाल का जवाब दे पा रहा है, पर ये जो भक्ति योग है उससे हल्का हल्का अलग दिख रहा जाता हुआ, तो क्या उसे एक साथ मना कर देना जबकि आपका दिमाग कह रहा नहीं है ठीक है, ठीक लग रहा है, या फिर उसमें उसको उस हद तक एक्सेप्ट करना जिस हद तक आपको ठीक लग रहा है? कौन सी अप्रोच ज्यादा बेटर?
करेक्ट। तो जो आपने सेकंड बोली वो सत्य है। देखो, कोई भी चीज कंप्लीटली गलत या सही नहीं होती है, ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट नहीं होता है। कई बार मुझे कई अच्छे एग्जांपल्स और एनालॉजीज मिलते हैं कोई बाहर नॉन स्पॉन स्पीकर से भी, तो मैं उनसे वो ले पाता हूँ और उसको अपने डिवोशनल कॉन्टेक्स्ट में यूज कर पाता हूँ। कई बार मुझे अच्छे एग्जांपल मिल जाते हैं मेरे वर्क प्लेस से भी, तो उनको भी मैं लेता हूँ। तो it's fine. It requires you to have certain level of your own understanding and conviction that you will not be swayed away. So when there is a risk of getting swayed and convinced in different way, then till then, like a child, we should grow under the protection of mother. We are able to walk ourselves, become strong, and then we are able to digest some other food also. Till then, we should keep drinking mother's milk, get nourished, right? So Prabhupada की books पढ़ो और पूरी अंडरस्टैंडिंग को समझो जितने ताकि हम मैच्योर हो जाएं। जब मैच्योर हो जाएंगे फिर हमारे पास और हायर एबिलिटी आएगी कि हम सबको अप्रिशिएट कर पाएंगे और समझ पाएंगे कि कहाँ पर वो लैक कर रहे हैं, कहाँ पर वेद व्यास देव ने करेक्ट वेदांत फिलोसफी दी है और कैसे अदर जो षट दर्शन है उनमें क्या क्या लैकिंग है। हम उस लेवल पे समझ पाएंगे कि दे आर सेइंग दिस मच ट्रुथ एंड दे फेल आफ्टर दिस। सो इस तरह से हम कर पाएंगे। कई बार हमारी इंक्लिनेशन होती है थोड़ा सा एनालिसिस करने की, ज्ञान लेने की, और योगिक प्रोसेस में डीप जाने की और डिटेल समझने की, कैसे करना चाहिए। तो दैट्स ऑल फाइन as long as we are fixed up in our bhakti siddhanta and we are able to connect everything with Krishna and his energies and the process of bhakti, then it's fine. Then we can just know some more detail. But it is risky, that's all. That's why devotees tend to protect us. But once you have passed that stage, you are mature, then you are able to get some good jewels and then use them in our bhakti also.
ओके, तो प्रभु जी इनिशियल स्टेज मतलब हमें रहने ही देना चाहिए। आई थिंक जितना मैं समझ पाया हूँ कि स्टार्टिंग के स्टेज में ओनली वी शुड ओनली फीड ऑन आवर मदर्स मिल्क। इट मींस इन द इनिशियल स्टेजेस वी ओनली शुड स्टिक टू ISKCON philosophy and we shouldn't be try to indulge and entertain ourselves with other philosophies. And once we will attain the stage where we are strongly we can hold our ground with our philosophy, we can read the or
that
take
is right,
the
that is right. Yeah, in
Okay.
the beginning we want to protect and become firmed up, understand it, and then we can get exposed and not get affected and only take what is truth from there. So it's just that. Yeah. So we are not saying that they are entirely wrong, but the conclusions are of course not right, or their focus are not right, but they have a lot of truth also in them. That's we accept. But what is truth and what is the wrong conclusion? First, let's understand that by studying the protected literature, then only.
जी, thank you Prabhu.
Thank you so much,
Okay.
Nanda Kumar Prabhu, for finding time from your busy schedule and giving us this your nice association and this nice answers for the questions, nice lecture. मुझे और भी रिक्वेस्ट आ रहा है बार बार कि मेरा भी क्वेश्चन है, बट वी कांट टेक एनी मोर क्वेश्चंस। हमने ऑलरेडी गुरु जी को लेट कर दिया है। सो थैंक यू वंस अगेन गुरु जी, एंड आई रिक्वेस्ट एवरीबॉडी, एक बार हम गुरु जी का लास्ट में थैंक यू बोलना चाहेंगे, एक बार हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र बोल के। तो सभी लोग अनम्यूट कर सकते हैं। हरे कृष्ण
हरे कृष्ण
कृष्ण
हरे
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 हरे राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhu. Really enjoyed your association, and
Thank you.
I saw that I didn't prepare a whole lot, but your association brought up so much content, which was unprepared. So it was wonderful. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so
Hare
much.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So yes, thank you for joining everyone.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hari
Thank
Bol.
you. Hari Bol. Thank you. Thank you.